So today I'm going to make pizza. I make it all the time, and I thought maybe today I would share how I do it. It's pretty darn simple. So I'm going to flip the camera and show you what I do. So I kind of just wing it. I have clips in my hair. I really don't care. It's hot. It's so hot in here. It's not even funny. So I like just hand measure about half a teaspoon of yeast and stick that in the container. Okay, so you start with some water and I don't know, maybe 1.5 cups, 2 cups of water, and you pour it into your container. This is a good size, 4 cups. And then you put in, remember I said measuring the yeast, so I don't know, about half a teaspoon. Stick that in lukewarm water, and then I like to give it a little bit of sugar. So I'll just grab a pinch of sugar, like nothing too serious. Put that in, and then I will put in flour, and only so much. I'm going to use the same spoon that I used earlier. Enough to just make it like mush. And stir that up. Oh yes, cooking in the kitchen. So that's pretty good. It's just kind of like more soppy than pancake mix. And then I just cover that with saran wrap. Yeah, so just cover that up with saran wrap and leave that overnight, because it's really great to leave it overnight and let it do its thing. So in the morning, this would probably rise to about there, and then you just scoop it out with a spoon. That was from earlier, making the other dough. Okay, so we're going to pretend that we're making that dough, and I'm just going to use a big stock pot. You don't need anything fancy to make pizza dough. And I would just dump it in the pan. And it doesn't have to be a messy business. You can use your spoon and get that all stirred up until it's a ball. You barely even have to get your hands dirty. And if you're worried about sticky hands, just use plastic gloves. So that's there until it's slightly sticky. Nothing too, don't let it get really hard. It's already, because I'm on a warm oven, you know, it's already starting to, I can feel it, it's starting to rise. Poke my finger, oops, my fingers are sticky, but if I didn't have a sticky finger, you can see how it's returning. So that's really good. Hang on, I'm going to wash my hands. And the next day you'll have dough like this. Well, not tough, you know, like that. You want to be able to form it in your hands, but that it holds, not soggy, not sticky, just a little tacky. And once you make it like that, then you would just cover it and let it sit. Now, the secret about pizza dough is that it's better to sit another day. Once it fully rises, then you can knock it down and put it in the fridge for another day. That breaks down the gluten a bit, and then you don't get fat. You can eat pizza a lot, provided you don't eat it fresh, like just freshly made. Yeah, gluten is your enemy. So once you get your dough like you'll just form it in the pan, whatever thickness you want. And what's great is you can make balls the size of maybe like that, and then you can make mini pizzas, and you can wrap them up with saran wrap and throw them in the freezer. See, so you can make all the dough like I just did in one shot in the pretending method, or you can do the method that I do where I leave that really sloppy mess and I'll wait till the next day. And why I do that way is because over 3 days or even 4 is that it gives it flavor. And oh, and I forgot to put salt. Don't put salt in your soupy mess just the sugar, just a little bit of sugar to feed the yeast. And then when you go to, you wait till the next day, then add the salt and then add the flour. I don't know, a quarter teaspoon or something. And if you're making it all in the same day, then let that doughy stuff sort of be sloppy and rise for a couple hours, and then put the salt in, and then the flour, and then finish up your dough mix. So either way, wait till the stuff has time to incubate for a while first, because the salt can kill the rise. Well, not really the rise, the initial activation. You want to give it a chance to get going before you knock it. Like, kind of, you know, it's like a plant. You gotta let it take off a bit before you start playing around with it too much. Give it a chance to develop. And salt gives a good flavor. But sometimes I forget, and I'm grateful, because we don't need a lot of salt in anything, because later if you choose to put pepperoni and some other toppings, there's natural salt in those things. You have to always keep in mind, whatever you're putting into whatever you're baking in that, you don't have to have so much. Like if you're putting a lot of fruit in something, you don't need a lot of sugar. Then I put the oven to 500, and I set the timer for 13 minutes. Something about 13 seems to work for the French fries and for the 500-degree oven heated up. And I leave my pizza sitting on the element on the stove where it's hot, so it's starting to warm, and then I let the dough rise a little bit longer. So hang on. And then it doesn't take much to feed yourself. You just need a little bit of cheese, and I don't even worry about pizza sauce. I'll just go and buy some cheap old can of spaghetti sauce. Yeah, nothing is fancy in this kitchen. Oops. I forgot to give that some airspace. So yeah, I like it saucy. Spread it around. Grab some onions. If you don't have onions, just turn to some, just put some onion powder on it. Hopefully yeah, just throw some onion powder on it. Throw your cheese. And then after the cheese, you can throw your pepperoni or whatever on top. Today I'm just making cheese. I just feel like something simple and light. Yeah, it's just a sandwich, you know, with a nice crunchy crust. One moment. So what really makes it taste good is some olive oil. Dab your fingers and go around the edge of the pizza crust to get it. This gives it crunchiness. And in the pan, before you put your pizza dough, you want to put that olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Okay, and then just what is this? Your garlic powder. This is my little secret. I like putting garlic powder around the edge, and I like a lot. Tastes awesome. And then I will take Parmesan cheese and I'll sprinkle that around the edge too. It just does something really awesome to the pizza. And that's about it for this pizza. It's not a fancy one, but whatever toppings, and if you put your meat on last, especially if it's like a thick Italian cut pastrami or pepperoni, then and that way the meat can get cooked and crispy, and all the kind of fat and stuff the flavor going into the pizza. Bacon, I would put that probably on top of the spaghetti sauce if it's already crispy, because you don't want that getting burnt and crispy. The more you make cooking like you're camping, the more fun it is, and the less you worry about being perfect. You know, throw anything on. And the nice thing about pizza too is nothing has to be fancy. Your vegetables can start wilting, and you know how vegetables start getting a little bit whatever. Well, they're just going to cook and ferment in the oven anyways with heat. So with that, that's probably why they invented pizza. It was probably leftover stuff from bread and vegetables that were starting to wilt, and probably the ends of meat that from whatever. I mean, you can throw any kind of meat on there, chicken, beef, whatever you want. I mean, really, really, just don't think like what you are known to do. You can put, like I've used chili, and I've put leftover chili sauce on my pizza, and it was amazing, with orange cheese, and yeah, it was really, really good. Because it's no different than dipping bread in chili, but it's all in one thing. So hang on. So now we're just going to toss it in the oven and let it cook for the oven's atrocious. We're going to set our timer for 13 minutes. I go 15, that way I have 2 minutes leeway. And you can see, oh well, actually I have it on broil, but it's supposed to be a 500. I always put it on broil just to get the oven up really high, and then I let it cook. And then I drop it down to 500 when I put it in the oven. That way it's super hot. It's as hot as you can get it, like an adobe oven. But on a freaking day like today, I don't know what the temperature is. It's probably high 80s. That wasn't a very smart call. Okay, so we're down to 1 minute. We're ready. This was a light crust. And here we go. It's ready to come out of the oven. And see, it's already cooked a little bit too long because I was too busy trying to empty the camera because it was time. But this crust that's not overnight is, look at that. It's nice, and because it's cooked too much, I'll move it over. I'll move it over here, and voila, it's done. And it's freaking awesome. Oops. Same look underneath there is golden. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can see that. It's firm and golden. It's just beautiful. Like, that's how you want your crust to look. And it'll be crunchy. It's absolutely going to be an amazing pizza. Yeah, so that's all there is to, and turn the alarm off. It's absolutely annoying. So that's it to make a simple pizza. Isn't that easy and wonderful? And even though I'm kind of a slob in the kitchen and don't have my perfectness going on, you know, you can throw this together camping. You can, you don't need much. I mean, cast iron pan. It makes the perfect pizza. And I stopped using this stone thing. But then again, I'm always experimenting. But and then I have the other thing you can do with that is make a bread. And hang on a sec. Now that you've made pizza dough starter, this is really stained, but it's clean. This is a cast iron. You can find them at garage sales, and it makes the perfect loaf of bread. Yeah, so that makes the perfect loaf of bread, unless you can find another cast iron stock pot or something, you know, go to a yard sale, or, and I guess there's this Lodge brand that's pretty cheap that you can buy, and then you can put a lid on your Dutch oven, and it gets super, super hot. And like if you pre-warm your cast iron too before you throw your bread in after it's risen. And then pull it out of the oven just before you're going to cook it and drop it in and put the lid on. You can get some really beautiful crust. But the secret is you don't have to knead it a super lot, but the longer you like do the yeast, like I said, and then the next day make your dough and then let it rise all day in the house, like I don't know, for at least 3 hours, and then put it in the fridge overnight, and then the next day, so that's 3 days worth of creating flavor and fermenting, breaking down gluten, and the flavor is just incredible. And then you can eat more pizza. But whenever you process something quickly and it doesn't have time to mature, it's like wine, you know. The better the wine, then you're not going to get as fat. Anything fermented is better for your body anyways to digest, and that goes with a lot of things. You can look up fermented food, and it's no different than beer. I mean, beer is fermented. So anyways, enjoy your pizza and have fun. And with weight loss coffee, magicalbrew.com and coffeemagic.com or Black Magic Coffee Shop, any of those websites you can go to. You can drink weight loss coffee and still eat some stuff. And we also carry a product called Trim that allows you to splurge whenever you want to, and it'll block the fat and the sugar and the flour, or I'm not really sure exactly, but it's a fat and sugar blocker anyways, and that keeps you from, I know you can recover your diet just being on the coffee, but if you want to keep your progress and not have to catch up from screwing up your daily your progress, then yeah, then you can buy Trim. This is at a few minutes to sit, and we're going to cut into it, and I want you to hear that. Oops, hear that. It's like, I don't know, kind of like an elephant's ear. It's crunchy. It's got that, it's airy. It's perfect. I love elephant ears. So that, you can see that it's got airiness to it. I'm just destroying this thing. So like there's air holes, and that's what you want. I mean, so to save time on this film, there we go. Pizza, look at that. Great, awesome, light. It's a little thicker than I would have liked. Sometimes I make it thick, but today I wanted it thin and it just went a little thicker. Yummy. I really hope this filmed all the way through, but it's perfectly good. Pizza, homemade, doesn't have to cost you a fortune. Enjoy your pizza. The crust on the outer edge. That's the best part. So you have no excuse to whip up pizza on the fly anytime you want. I mean, I filmed this, except for maybe about 5-minute delay where I was converting. The camera got full between when I put it in the oven till I took it out. So I made that pizza pretty much, except for the prepping of the dough and the time that this film took, and I'm already eating it. So anybody can do this, and using olive oil in the cast iron frying pan, you know, taking a piece of saran wrap and rubbing the oil all around, up around the edges, really gives it that kind of Pizza Hut taste. But then you get the Italian crunchy, and then you can go thinner and get the New York kind of pizza. You can play with this as much as you want. You could even put spices into your dough if you wanted to. After, at the very end, you know, like before you put it in the fridge, you could kind of mush in some oregano if you wanted. Or you can get so fancy. This is just so fun. Or you could take the dough and make cheese biscuits, and let those like put cheese and onion and stuff in it and garlic, and let them rise, and then you can use those for supper, for dinner rolls. It's so easy to make things fun and interesting. I'm laughing thinking, yeah, it probably took longer to make this film than it did to make the pizza and eat it. Filming, editing takes a while to do. Anyways, enjoy your day, your vacation, your summer holidays, your camping trips, and all that good stuff. And hopefully you make pizza. You can do this in the barbecue also. Or do it right on the good old campfire. Have a beautiful day. Didn't your mama tell you you shouldn't talk with your mouth full? Mama's not here. Yeah, so you can snack on that for a couple days. And if you want, if you've made a couple pizzas, you can make your pizza completely in the oven and then let it cool down completely, and then saran wrap it and throw it in the freezer. And then you can, you know, recook it again in the oven at a lower heat, and it'll turn out like as if it was freshly made. And it's fantastic. Or put individual slices and wrapped up and throw those in the freezer. I mean, there is so much you can do to save money and still eat really fun, funky food. And the best thing is when you cook a lot and play around, you get to the point where your food's better than a restaurant, and it's so much cheaper. I mean, a restaurant's really just for the experience. Unless you like the cook or the waitress and the company. Most of that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the company and the lighting and the experience and a place to go and get away from the house. But you can have that experience in your home all the time. And, you know, for people who can't afford a lot or have kids and stuff, you can create your own picnics and date nights on the floor in your living room, or, you know, just walk out in the field or take it to a picnic. You can make life so fun again, just with the simplest little things. Okay, so this is me in my sundress, and my hair finally had the clips. I had a good day today. I hope you did too.